What's up, guys? I'm here with my good friend Pavel Bosovic, and sitting right behind us is the Venture van. He's going to be showing us around this beautiful luxury adventure van, probably one of the best available on the market.
Yeah, so what makes our adventure van very unique is that it's on the 170. Most adventure vans are out there on a 144 chassis, which is nice and all, but really for the same price, why not get an extra couple of feet?
I agree.
Those couple of feet play a huge role in van life, in living off grid and in
100%.
exploring. And then in addition, 144, which is a versus a 170-inch wheelbase, it's not that big of a difference. If you go into our adventure group page on Facebook, you'll see a lot of our clients scaling the rocks of Baja, going into the mountains of Colorado, and doing a lot of the cool things that all the 144-inch people are doing. And so many times we see those 144 inchers, they come in here and they upgrade to a real adventure van built by 27
That's
North.
amazing. Yeah. And the quality on these is next level. We just finished filming a factory tour as well. If you want to see the behind the scenes of how these are actually built and the amount of quality and the extremely high standard that goes into this, you can go check out that tour. And that's incredibly important, especially if you're trying to make a buying decision. You're going to feel more confident and you're going to understand the actual effort that goes into this. This is not like one of those RVs where you drive it off the lot and shower handles are falling off, electrical systems are smoking. Pavel and his team make sure that everything is done extremely well so that when you get out on the road in a venture van, you're not having to spend a ton of time in the service center.
Yeah, I'd like to start on the outside. So, what stands out the most on the outside is this is not your typical grandpa granny van.
Yeah,
And I use that in the words of our customers. One of our most recent customers, like, wow, this is not a granny van. I'm like, no, nothing like that. So, we're one of the few builders in the entire country that uses the full agile rib kit, meaning we don't just use the springs or the stickers,
Mhm.
we use the entire system. So, we rebuild the rear suspension and the front
That's
suspension.
amazing.
In addition, we have the springs, the struts, and the leaf spring upgrade in the rear. We have our own custom built wheels with an all-terrain tire. And so you can still drive on the highway and off-road very comfortably. On the exterior, we have the side step. As you notice, this is not your traditional RV fiberglass side step.
Yeah.
This is an overlanding side step. So whenever it's rainy, snowy, icy, or muddy, you come in here, give it a couple of taps, it all falls off, and it's got this traction. So even if it's a little icy, a little muddy, you're not gonna
It
slip.
has so much. I'm literally trying to move my leg.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's a lot of traction in there, like, we're shaking the van
Yeah.
with it. Like we mentioned in the previous video, we have that adventure skin lining all around on all the moldings, including the mud flaps and the moldings that go in between there as well.
And this not only looks beautiful, but it's incredibly practical, especially when you're driving off road.
Yeah, so whenever you're off-roading, rocks, chips, branches, it scuffs it up, and it looks like a used Amazon van. It's like, come on, you're spending $250,000 on an adventure van. You gotta cover this with something. You can't just
100%.
leave it the way it is. Moving around to the front. On the front side, we have this skid plate of a bumper. We carry out the OEM sensors. You got two big Baja lights and a LED bar up top, and you got ditch lights. The neat thing with the ditch lights is whenever you're off-roading or traveling at night, you can readjust them to point them in the areas where you typically wouldn't get good lighting. Same thing on this side, we have an overlanding step. We secure your water infill. Something we learned from building custom vans is a lot of people were concerned about people putting stuff in their water and things like that. So it's locked up. And then we do a smart plug. This is the obsidian black. So as you can see in the sun, it's got a really nice
Oh, that's so
sparkle to
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got an electric drain valve for your gray tank. So if you're using biodegradable soaps and in a safe and a loud area, you press a button and it drains it for you. Back here, you have your cassette toilet. So the neat thing with the cassette toilet is that it is lockable, so no one steals your cassette, not that nobody wants. The neat thing here is that it's very accessible, and if you ever do have an issue, and you probably never will, you can get this on Amazon and drop pick to your home. And so you're not waiting in a service center for 1 year to get your gray tank replaced. Comes with this handle. You wheel it to a dump station, wheel it to an outhouse in the national park, dump it, put it back in here. No gloves needed, no black hoses, none of that jack.
Yeah.
And
Very
then it's
simple.
insulated door, insulated interior.
Amazing.
On the interior, it's got a button, so it's actually an electric flush. So it's not like your traditional compost oil. It's very hands-on.
Yeah.
We do We Boost and or Starlink. Starlink comes standard, or you can do the We Boost. We have the overlanding lights all around the exterior. On the rear, same thing. We cover that bumper. You get this towing package for bike rack. You get a spare tire with a winch, a skid plate, molly panel here. That garage, like I was telling you, it's very important That interior garage. Every van comes with your window visors for the front, and we use the Van Essential ones. What's really nice with the Van Essential ones, you get a bag that comes for it. It's insulated, so it's not just a cheap reflecting one. It's an insulated one, and it's a magnet, so it magnetizes to the A pillar in the front by the windshield and on the doors.
So putting it up is gonna feel very satisfying. It'll just snap into place.
How many times have you bought an RV and you're missing the hose, you're missing the key essential components? See how heavy this is?
Oh, wow. That's a box loaded with
So
stuff.
you get a loaded box of goodies. You get compressors, you get a smart power cable, you get an adapter for your hose, you get filter covers, you get a regular water hose, you get all these awesome, nice little gadgets and things that you need for your first trip.
100%.
Again, my philosophy. When's the last time you bought a car and you needed to go and buy a charging cable for it, or you needed to go and buy a gas tank for it? Like that makes no sense.
Everything comes standard so that when you get on the road, you literally have everything you need, right? And even
Exactly.
these accessories here, they come standard with the van.
Yes, they come standard, all the accessories, everything you need. Something that I really liked was a feedback from a customer, and the customer came and spoke to me. He's like, Paul, explain this to me. I bought your van for the same price as a van I've had before, a competitor's van. On a competitor's van, I had to spend $50,000 on exterior modifications,
That's it.
getting a wee boost,
Yeah.
getting the tire carrier, getting the skid plate, getting the air compressor. Your van comes stock with all that. How are you guys making money? Like, we're not about the money. We're about the
Exactly.
end consumer, the end user. If the end user is having the ultimate experience, our employees will be taken care of.
100%. And honestly, when you're spending this kind of money, you deserve this type of experience. So make sure you don't settle for anything less.
Yeah, as we continue through here, you got a side step to come in here. So your shower head, it comes off, and then you can rinse out outside. You get the big debris off, and then you come in here, and you take a nice thorough shower, and then you walk into your sleeping area nice and clean, all your wet clothes, shoes left in here. That is what our showers are most known for.
Yeah.
Like I'd mentioned, it does swivel, so if you got long feet and you just want to open the doors and kick your feet out and enjoy nature as you're sitting
With
on
the
the
view.
throne with the view, you can. We also have a blackout curtain if you want to close off and have your privacy.
100%. And I just want to say something really quickly. Even the curtain here is extremely high quality. I've seen curtains in other RVs and vans, and they're just super like,
Thin vinyl.
yeah, they suck. And it's not just about the curtain being high quality. You're gonna notice this as a theme throughout the entire venture van.
Yeah.
Every single little thing you see in here is to the highest of standards because again, when you're spending this kind of money, when you're investing this kind of money,
Yeah.
you deserve the highest of quality.
100%. Let's work our way around to this side. On this side, you have your outdoor speakers. You have your Fiamma 10-foot awning. It is electric, so you just press a button, it comes out. If it's windy, you got arms that come out and they clip in here to keep it nice and secure. The sliding door has a window that does open, and then you have this really nice bug screen that comes down.
Yeah.
And so it is magnetic as well, so you're not constantly zipping and unzipping. So if you want, you just push the magnets come apart and you can go outside.
And it basically closes right behind you.
Exactly. Up front are reupholstered seats. They do swivel. And so you swivel and you have one working area here. You swivel this side, you have a second working area here.
Yeah.
With an array of all the outlets you could possibly need and not need. And then here, all of our drawers are soft close, and then we edge band all the exposed wood. So there's nothing exposed. So if you put something wet in here, it's not going to damage it. Soft close, so it sucks it in. It sucks it in, and then the latch, it's a marine grade latch. It keeps it from opening. So even if you're bouncing up and down the road, the high-end drawer slide system will keep it from rattling, and then this latch will keep it
That's
from
amazing.
opening.
Yeah. Rattling is a huge problem in the industry, and it's so annoying. Yeah,
Yes,
because you're
so
literally
bad.
driving down the highway and it sounds like everything is falling apart behind you.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes even like cabinets and drawers are shooting open, and that actually distracting me.
Oh.
I was driving a van literally last week, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden the cabinet opens, and my immediate reaction was like, did someone crash into you? So I looked back, and in the meantime, I almost got into a car
Yeah.
accident.
Another thing that's 1% better than everything else in the industry, we even put a gasket where the cabinet meets the wall to minimize that noise. The biggest problem I've seen in the industry servicing other RVs is the appliances. So what breaks on a traditional RV refrigerator? Either the handle, the latch, or the mechanism that opens it. Here, as you can see, it's all stainless steel. You got stainless steel slides, you got a stainless steel latch, and you got a stainless steel handle. Best of my knowledge, granted, I didn't pay as close attention in biology as I should have, but stainless steel has a lifespan of a couple thousand years.
Oh wow.
You see the rugged floor, the under cabinet lighting. Another thing that's unique to 27 North is the doors. So the reason we don't do doors is to first cut down on weight. Secondly, the doors are dead space. Here for the doors, let's say you have keys and wallet. How many times do you lose that?
Every day.
All the time.
Yeah.
So now you can put your keys and wallets in here
Oh wow.
and you never have to worry about losing it along with your wallet. So you got our wallet, keys, everything goes in here. Point number three, it keeps you accountable.
Mhm.
So you always put your clothes back in it nice and clean. You always fold. You're not jamming your
Exactly.
jewelry. And lastly is a safety thing. So you spend 3 days camping. Instead of having to open each drawer individually, you come in here and glance. All right, everything's nice and secure, and you're back on the road. That's
100%.
just the three of my favorite reasons of our unique netted doors.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are gonna be wondering, like, what if I put a pan over here and the RV swings? Is it gonna fall out or anything
No,
like that?
so if you put it in here correctly and it's nice and tight, it's not going to go anywhere. As we continue moving back here, something else that's very unique to our vans is our plumbing system. So the plumbing system is completely residential. So we're not using any of that cheap appliances. So you got a residential faucet, residential sink. Another thing that's notorious in our vans is what we call the bucket. And so the shower pan has a bucket in there, so it doesn't clog up your system and you're not constantly changing it. You know, you got a 5 day supply of stuff that you can
Yeah.
collect in here and then let it out into nature if it's
And
biodegradable.
the other thing I just want to say about this quickly is that this sink is very, very spacious, right? Like
Yeah.
you're washing dishes in here, you're washing your hands. It's very easy to access it. I've been in other vans and RVs, and you're literally washing your hands in a bowl, and the water's splashing everywhere. It's getting everywhere, and it's just very annoying, and it's makes it extremely difficult to cook in here as well. So this is
Exactly.
awesome to see.
Moving our way towards the back half is the living space. Here you have two cots, so you can sleep on this side or this side, or these tables swivel around. They drop in here and you can create a bed. Something that's unique about our cushions is that we make them in house. And so you can unzip them if you ever have issues. You can mail it into us and we'll mail you out new covers.
That's
And then same thing with the cushions. Let's say 20 years down the road, the material's lost its form, you can unzip it, swap it out. If you have back issues and you want something softer, you can go to
yeah.
Amazon, buy any material you want. You can buy anything from green tea leaf infused cushions to gel cool. You open it, you cut it to size, just a regular razor knife, and you can swap out the cushion material. Look at the cleanliness here.
This is amazing.
We've now looked at probably around 10 different vans, copy and paste from the placement of the fixtures the way to your components in here. That's your DC charger, your solar charger module. It's all accessible. It's all plug and play. It's very clean. And then you're not stripping apart cabinets. It's all removable. And so you can come in here and store stuff in here, or you can access it to service it. Or if you ever want to add a battery, for example, or if you want to upgrade your DC to DC charger, you're able to
It's
do
all
that.
very clean, very organized.
Exactly.
It's really nice to look at. And another thing I'll say as well is like, as I'm touching everything inside of this, like from the cabinets to everything, literally everything is very, very well done. It's very high quality. You can literally feel it. Feels like I can hit this with a hammer and be fine, you know?
Hey, I don't do a hammer. I do the 50-pound test. So I always tell my technicians, quality control, you take your fist and you just go around punching stuff. And
Yeah.
if it passes the 50-pound punch test, it passes my quality control standard. Moving on here, you have your control panel. So we typically put in our vans about 1,000 amp hours of lithium ion battery packs. We use the Lithionics batteries because it's a single lithium ion pack, an aluminum capsule with a heat pad and a Bluetooth module. And so you can track the performance of that battery specifically, and it helps with the recharge and discharge, giving it a longer lifespan. We use a 90 amp hour DC to DC charger along with approximately 5 to 600 watts of solar, depending on the layout. And so it's all here on one screen. You can see right now the solar is recharging it. It's at 88%. All of our buttons and modules are mostly gone from boats. So as you can see here, it's kind of got that boat vibe because traditional RV panels, they crack, they age, they fade. Here it's electric. And then as you saw there, it's a manual one. So it's not relying on electricity. It's not relying on a sensor. It's all very robust and utilitarian. And then you got your awning button, your lights, your water pump, your exterior lights, wet sounds audio system. So just the audio system here is a couple $1,000s. Very clean audio, whether you want to listen to top 5 symphony or watch a movie on your TV, you got a really clean audio.
That's
And then back here, you have a hidden compartment. Look at that. Tell me if you've ever seen anything like that in an RV.
nice.
It's all plug and play, very clean. If you have a passport or something you're traveling with, I'd recommend hiding it in there. And then if you ever need to swap out a gauge, swap out a screen, swap out a radio, plug and play component.
Very easy, yeah, and I'll also say, like, in a lot of other RVs and vans, this control system section looks very ugly, and you guys have done a really good job at designing it in a way where it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye.
And it's all laser engraved. So these aren't stickers or tags. It's all laser engraved.
Yeah.
And so over the years, it's just going to be as high quality as that. Moving back here, you have a 12-volt fan, you got outlets, and you got a television. Again, how many times do you misplace the remote? Now you can just put in the net and never have to worry about losing it. The air conditioning, a lot of times people ask, how long can you run it on eco mode? You can run it 50 hours. That's an entire work week.
Yeah.
On this side, we have the plumbing system. Standard comes with 30 gallons of fresh water, 20-gallon gray tank. To put in perspective, the average male Vanlifing uses about 1 gallon of water to shower. The average female uses 2.5 gallons of showering. And so you have plenty of water for any adventure you might go on.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm so happy you said the averages because people usually don't understand gallons and all these technical
Yeah.
terms.
Out here, you have a pantry. So the pantry comes with a mirror, a dowel rod here. So if you have a dress that you're traveling with, or a snowboarding outfit, a suit, a biking jacket, a suit jacket, if you're traveling sales rep or business owner, you have this out here. If you're traveling nurse and so forth.
Yeah.
So you have a nice linen closet here. Same thing, soft close hinges so it doesn't vibrate and rattle when you drive. We have 2 floor plans. We have the Venture Together. That's for traveling with passengers. And then we have the Venture. The Venture is kind of the flagship model. So we put these walnut slats on the ceiling to give it that really nice yacht vibe, along with an aluminum panel. So it reflects, giving it a more open feeling, similar to how Gulfstream designed on their jets, the lighting and the aluminum ceilings to make it feel more open.
I mean, it's pretty bright outside right now, so you won't really appreciate the light too much. When you're walking in here, it literally feels like you're walking into like a luxury showroom. It feels really nice. It feels extremely spacious, right? Like in some van tours that we've done, I mean, in here with the owner, and only one person can be here with the cameraman, right? It's like me and Pavel, we're hanging out in here together, and it's very spacious. It feels really nice in here. The ceiling is very well done, and the lighting, it's incredible. We'll put some footage in there for you guys to see that.
Thank you.
Good.
So you unhook those, the tables come on here. And then the middle section, yeah, it's right there. That's the middle section. And just to wrap up the living space, you could either sleep by yourself here if you're a solo traveler. We made this side longer and wider to be the size of a camping cot or a military cot. If you're traveling with a significant other, a friend, the tables, they drop down onto the slats here. These 2 cushions go on the table, and you got a queen size bed here.
100%.
And the really neat thing here is when you're sleeping, you can just throw your feet over, come into the bathroom, and you have a self-cleaning door, and that not only acts as a barrier for odors and smells and whatnot, but also gives you your privacy. Thank you all so much for coming on my tour. Pavel out.
So, Pavel, everyone's seeing this layout. The bed looks amazing, but I know one of the concerns that some people are gonna have is that you have to convert the bed every single night when you want to sleep.
Yeah.
So, we'll,
Well, first of all, if you're a solo traveler, you don't. You got your cot on this side. So all you do is you take off this, and this is a camping cot. You jump on here, and you're good to go. Now, if you're traveling with someone else, half the job is already done. You sit around the table, you drop it, you throw these cushions on the tables, and within 60 seconds, you have a bed. If you go on our Instagram, the 27North, you'll see the marketing girls, they time lapse and with a stopwatch how long it takes to make it. In 60 seconds, they had it converted, sheets down and pillows up.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's very fast. And I'll also say, like, this is a concern that most first-time van buyers have. But in all honesty, it's better to have a convertible bed because that opens you up to an entire living space. And then on top of that, it's like you can very easily convert it, like Pavel said, within 60 seconds, right? So it's not an issue at all, honestly.
Exactly.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Pavel, for showing us around the Venture van. If you want to look at more details into this van, and if you're wondering, is this actually the right van for you, go ahead and go over to the Vanalizer tool. You can literally input your requirements, and it'll show you whether or not this is going to be the right van for you and your lifestyle. Any final thoughts?
Yes, I appreciate you taking the time and watching this video. If you want to watch and see more details, you go to our website, www.the27north.com. The or the is THE. I know from different parts of the country, people pronounce it differently, so I always have to spell it out. You can also find us on our YouTube channel. Our handle is the 27North, where we put weekly videos out on the behind the scenes of not only how to use the van, but how the van is built.
Amazing. And if you want to click a link in the description, you can head over to their website or their Instagram pages as well. Thank you.